Hello, today I'm going to be crafting a couple of hand drill sets, so stick with me and I'll talk you through the process. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to go ahead and prep the spindles. I have 3 here, 2 Horseweed and 1 Seep Willow. Seep Willow is already pretty close to done, so that'll be pretty quick for the video. So we'll start with the Horseweed. So if you look at it, Horseweed has a whole bunch of leaf nodes going up and down the stalk, and when using it as a hand drill, those leaf nodes can get a little bit painful. They can cause blisters, so we're going to get rid of those first. So I'm going to use the spine of my knife, not the edge, the spine. I'm going to scrape from the direction of growth, so from the bottom of the stalk up. And this just helps to make sure we're not going to cause any split outs or make any large flat spots. So I'm just going to be rubbing it back and forth with the spine. This is just going to smooth everything down. I'll rub my hand on it and see how it's feeling, if there's any spots that need a little extra work. And I'm going to do that for the whole length of the piece. So as I get lower here, I'm going to look and find a good spot to trim it off. It's not very straight right in here. It has a bit of wobble, so I'm going to take it right here at this leaf node. I'm just going to carve around and rose cut that off. When it breaks like that while being carved, you want to be careful not to just snap it off, because that can cause a crack to run the length of the spindle. So now I'm just going to trim this down to a dull rounded point. Alright, that'll work. Because this piece is especially pithy, I can't get it to a point, but where it is right now will be just fine. It's going to be conducive to the burn-in process. So that's one spindle complete. I'm going to pause the recording and get the other one done off camera, because you don't probably want to see that full process for the same thing twice. Alright, so there we go. We have 2 hand drills, smoothed and shaped up and ready to go. So I'm going to do the Seep Willow real quick. The only real difference with the Seep Willow is I'm going to be shortening it. I've already done pretty much all the leaf node work on this one at a previous time, so I'm just going to shorten up the spindle a little and shape up the ends. So I'm going to use the score and snap technique to get it shaped. Or shortened, I mean. And I'm only going to be taking off a couple inches here. So I'm going to set the knife edge up with my thumbs off to either side. And I'm going to push down on the spindle and turn. And this is scoring deep into the wood. And then once it's pretty deep, like at least halfway, you can just snap it off clean. I'm going to save this piece for compound hand drills. So now I'm just going to shape up the end of this here. As it is right now, if you were to use the floating hands technique, it's kind of hard on the hands. It's got a hard angle on it, so I'm just going to shape that up. You could also grind it down with sandstone or another rock, make it round. Then I'm just going to clean up the top and get rid of any hard angles that could hurt the hand. So there we go, the top of that spindle is now good and softened. So the bottom is a dull point, so I'm just going to round that down a little bit. Alright, so there we go, that is the Seep Willow spindle complete. So now I'm going to make the fireboards. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the camera, adjust the angle a bit, and we'll show you that. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to split down this piece of cottonwood root for a fireboard. And if it doesn't want to split straight, that's fine. I'll just carve it down instead. And it looks like it will. And this one has a couple bug holes in it, so I'm going to have to carve down past that. Looks like they may go a little bit deep, we'll see. If this piece ends up not being good, then I'll have to use a different one, but that's okay. Now this would go much faster if I had a machete or hatchet with me, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and carve this down and see what happens. Yeah, this piece isn't going to be good. The bug holes are really deep, so we'll just move on to the next one. Now this one also has bug holes, but they're not nearly as big. Alright, so this fireboard came out alright. It does have a lot of bug holes still, but it's totally usable as is, with or without them, so I'm not too worried about that. So now I'm going to go ahead and split down this piece of Sotal. This one should split pretty straight. Sotal is a flower stalk and thus has very straight grain. Alright, so split a board out of that pretty nicely. I'm going to go ahead and just carve it down, thin it out. All right, so that board came out pretty easy. So let's get it burned in and we'll call this a day. Whew. There was a bit of moisture in the bark, but we got it. All right, thanks for coming along with me today. So to recap, we made 3 hand drill spindles, 2 of horseweed and 1 of Seep Willow, and 2 fireboards, 1 Sotal, 1 Cottonwood Root. Just have to make that third one another day. Thanks for watching.